So first trade right out the gates was Peggy. Um, we had this, crazy break of resistance here. Inflow of buyers hit a high of 680s, and then we kind of formed this 1 minute flag at the time, which did transfer over to a 5 minute flag setup. So here on Peggy, I took my first entry right around here at 652. we had a we had a pop into, I believe it was 660s. I took my first piece off at 655, and then ultimately, we just started consolidating inside of this flag. The volume was really nice, setup was clean. It was one I would take any day. And then I remember, it was just taking too long to break out. So I was like, what the hell is going on here? And then I did notice this was the 5 minute flag that I was watching. And I remember writing here in chat that's I remember writing 660s was very, very heavy. There was a lot of sellers. That 660 got really heavy. Would not be surprised if we consolidate and then make new highs later. So ultimately, I did get a piece off, and then we did end up stuffing, and I cut the rest on the breakthrough 630s. Then I went over to my 1 minute, and I remembered like during this week we would have all these short candles, and they wouldn't really give follow through to the downside. So I was like, okay, let's see if we can hold this area over here, which we did nicely. And let's see if we could start to make the climb back up, get over this trend line. And right when I put that right over here, Peggy, watch for that low volume consolidation for that U shape. 650 area, pre-market high is key. 630 break, then highs. And then you can see here we got the Peggy trend line test. And as soon as we broke over the trend line, I added some at $6.42. And as soon as I added, like there wasn't even time for me to type that I added, we had this parabolic move all the way to sevens. I took my first piece off immediately near the 660 area because I remembered that was a very heavy area of resistance. I thought, maybe it will fly up to that area and then, possibly get followed through to the downside, but that was not the case. So I took my first piece off around the 660 area, and then right when we blew through that, I sold out completely at 688. So I kind of, sold out near this top over here. We did end up halting up, and we did hit a high of 750s, but at this time I was just like, okay, I made back my loss from this first trade. We're now green on the name. Let's keep it like that. So overall, really nice trade on this one. Really nice 5 minute flag that, it did dump. However, there was no follow through on the dump. And then I noticed up here, we kind of had this bear flag, and I kind of had the same mindset going into it. I was like, okay, we have this dump. However, we're not getting the follow through. Normally you see a dump, normally you see a bear flag. You could see right here they tried to, bring it down lower. However, we bounced off the high a day area over here. So when I noticed that, I was like, okay, you know what, maybe there's, a long potential here. So I noticed this kind of 5 minute flag set up over here, and that's when I re-added Peggy at $6.84. I believe it was right here on this short candle. Kind of bottom ticked it. We hit a low of 680. I got some at 684, and then as soon as we got the break and we popped up, I sold out of the piece, or I sold out of my whole piece at 697. So we broke out here, we came up, pulled back in, and then as soon as we got this pop on higher volume, you can see it right here. That's when I exited my whole piece. I was kind of in the scalp mindset. I felt like this name was already extended from the lows of the morning. There was also a lot of shorts, in it. They were clearly trapped. Sure, we could have squeezed higher, but at the time, I just wanted to get that quick gain, and I wanted to, find something else that would give me a real nice setup. Those were my trades on Peggy. I didn't play it over here, although it did kind of have this wedge. You can see it broke down now. Did anyone else trade Peggy? Yeah.
Right around 646 where I had, or 643 is where I entered. So then, like you said, it was getting kind of heavy, so I decided to take half off on the next candle when it popped up and rejected 661 and it came back down.
Yeah.
Took half off the break even, and then I got caught in that and got the rest off at 627. But I didn't re-enter it after that until later in the day, so I missed that whole move up. And I entered
That's
It would
Eastern,
start to
right?
pop up and form the other flag.
Yeah, right over here. This kind of. I'm sure it was a nice flag on the 5. I could see it on the 1. Yeah, right over here.
Yeah. So I was looking for the U shape. So I didn't really stick to my plan after I entered. So I entered half size, and I had my stop below that swing low at like 619.
Yeah,
And then I pulled myself out at the next half size if it kept dipping. But I was watching on tape and it looked kind of dead. So and then it looked like the 8 PMA and the 1 minute and the 13 PMA on the 5 minute were both resistance. So I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna add more. I'm just gonna see what happens. So then it formed it popped up and formed another flag, the 1 minute flag from 105 to 109.
yeah,
So once it did that, I changed my stock. I wasn't going to stock out at 619 anymore. I basically I didn't want to stock out. I didn't want to see 640 again after four month play.
yeah. So
So
ultimately, it
then
was a nice flag execution on your end.
yeah, so then I took my and I had intention of like holding the whole piece up until like $7. That's what I was aiming to do. But then I ended up taking some off at 664 when that 1 minute candle got extended into VWAP
Yeah,
or close to VWAP. So I took some off there and I took the rest off at 120, 682. I felt like $7 was getting a bit too greedy there, and I didn't think it was gonna happen. So
yeah. Really nice execution on your end, man. Really clean. Good job noticing the flag setups. A lot of people were kind of in the short mindset over here. And remember when I was at the gym, I actually looked at this and I did see this 5 minute flag. However, I didn't, execute on it. But yeah, really nice setup, man. You got your low VPA pullback, high volume push. You can see buyers clearly stepping in, and you got your move all the way up to I believe 690s, almost 7. You had a high of 698. Really clean, man. Good job.
yeah, thanks.
Nice.
After that, I didn't touch Peggy again after that.
Yeah, I think
Actually, no wait, I did. Or no, no, I
nice. And then I remember my second trade on the day was this was actually from Dom's call out. He had noticed this pre-market high over here was acting as support, and we were forming. What the hell is that? And so this is our pre-market high. We weren't holding it exactly, but however we were in the area, we were holding our EMA 9, and we had this 5 minute flag set up right here. Really nice VPA. VPA is stair stepping down. So I decided to get long on this one. I got filled at 27 cents exactly. We did dip down into 26s. I remember I added a little more there. My average became like 26.9, 26.8. And then we did get our flag break here. I took my first piece off at 28, right around this area. Took my second piece off into high day, which would have been 29 cents right over here. We kind of caught the top on it. And then I remember looking at it on the 1 minute, and we were kind of forming this flag here. We were holding this 28 area, and I told myself, okay, if we break 28 cents, I'm gonna go ahead and cut the remaining piece. So we did get that flush through 28. As soon as this one started breaking my EMA 9 and also the 28-cent level, I exited my remaining piece. And I just want to go back to the 5 minute flag and note, like, look at the volume on this. Really, really clean. You get your high volume push, low descending VPA, buyers step in, low pullback, more buyers step in, and then you get this high later. However, I wasn't in for it. But I did take another trade on this name. When we got this break over here, this was kind of a supply area. And I was noticing, we kind of had this 1 minute flag set up, high volume push over our 29 resistance, kind of got that low volume descending VPA. And then, buyers did step in and they did try to take it, higher. So on this one, I got filled around 29.2, I believe. Didn't take any off over here. We did get a pop into like 30. However, I didn't take anything off. I was looking for that, squeeze into 35s. I believe it was a daily level. Um, I'm trying to find that level for you guys. So right over here, I was looking for the breakthrough 30, and then see if we can start squeezing into 35, and then ultimately coming up to maybe 38s. Trying to test the high of this body over here. Ultimately, that didn't happen on the 1 minute. And I did cut on the break of 29, so I didn't get caught in this move, which I'm happy I didn't. I think I managed risk pretty well on it. And as soon as we violated this 29 support area that was previous resistance, I just cut the remaining piece, and you could see more sellers came in. Eventually came down a trend, and that's when we tried holding up the pre-market highs. Ultimately gave them up, and we ended up selling off throughout the day. So I think I did a good job, protecting my risk on this, protecting my gains from that first trade, and not getting caught in an ugly move like this. Did anyone else trade CCNC? I assume not. Okay. So moving on to my next trade, we had FNGR. This one was towards the end of the day. We did have a 5-minute flag set up. I believe Mikey alerted it. I tagged along with it because I thought the setup was really nice. I'll get into APDN in a second, but we had this nice 5-minute flag set up here. Big buyers pushing it up, low volume VPA pullback. I got filled on this one at 922 right here on this pullback. We did have a pop into, I believe it was 930s. Took my first piece off at 927, and then as soon as we got this 920 break, because this was my risk, you see I had this box drawn. It was previous resistance over here, support over here, support here, more flat top resistance here. Tried to hold the support here, ultimately got knifed, and so as soon as we broke this 920 area, I cut the remaining piece, and then I'm sorry, as soon as we broke the 920 area here, I cut the remaining piece, and ultimately we did come back up and we did retest 930s. However, we could not break our trend line. So another one, another flag that I take any day. I think I did well. I took my first piece off. Overall, it was more of a break-even trade. I think I managed risk pretty well on this one as well. We did have a low volume dump here that didn't get much follow through, and like looking left on it, every time they tried to dump it, we came up higher. Right here, they were successful. And then, we kind of had that dramatic lower low and then higher high over here, tried to base. And then this should have squeezed into highs. However, it did not. And we did get that breakdown. So I think I managed risk well on this. Did anyone else trade FNGR? No? Alrighty. Or around 12:30, right around this area? Yeah, I believe Mikey was all over FNGR today. Did you get to play it, or did you say that you missed it?
No, I missed my entry notes, but yeah, I'm not gonna chase it.
Oh, I see. Yeah, this would have been like the really nice flag to play all the way up to 980s. Really nice. But look at these, stuff candles, man. They're giving, like, even though we're getting so much range to the upside, these stuff candles are so large. Like, this one's very spready, I assume. Yeah, nice 5-minute flag here. Low VPA, high volume push, low VPA pullback, buyer step in, and they just send it higher. Really nice. You can see here it's trying to come up and test that trend. And then another trade that I had today was APDN, and I got long right here off the lower trend line. You can see we kind of dumped into this area. It was right over here. I got long at 266, so right when we had sucked up, I got long 266 on kind of this flag setup. We did have a dump into our trend line. However, I did not cut over there. I was willing to hold. Risk was low. I had a little smaller size on it, so I was a little flexible with it. And then we ended up getting our break over our downtrend line. Took my first piece off at 270. Then that's when I said 3-minute, or I'm sorry, APDN lower trend line, 270 test. And then APDN 5-minute flag up here. Let's get new highs. That was this flag right here. I was looking for the breakthrough 280, see if we could start, squeezing up into 3. You could see on the daily we had the range up to over 290. We would have that range into 3s and then possibly 320s. So I was looking for that end of day squeeze. However, we did not get that squeeze, obviously. And I took more off on this leg up right here at 276, right near the highs. And then I was willing to hold. I really wanted that 280 break. I really wanted to see this thing open up into the end of the day. However, we did start coming down, and that's when I wrote in chat, let's see if we can remain over 270s. We did break below 270s, and when we broke below 270s and we couldn't break back over it, that's where I cut my last piece. So overall, it was a nice little win. Closer to end of day, you don't want to hold and hope for the moves. You kind of want to take what's on the table. So I think this was really nice. I do think I could have got a better average. I should have waited, for a dip into VWAP. It would have been, much less risk on the table, but ultimately it worked out. So pretty proud of that. Did anyone else trade APDN?
Yeah, APDM was my top watch at the start of the day. I missed the first one in the flag, and I try to stay away from one in the flags on the open.
Right over here.
Yeah, so I was looking. I looked for 5 minute setups at the open, trying to get to anything before 9:40.
Yeah,
So once I read, pulled back, I thought about going previous high day.
yep,
I was like, that's not really my setup, so I stayed away from it. Set up a couple other 1 minute flags that I also did. I think it was in Peggy that night. I don't want to take multiple positions at once.
yeah,
It did play it maybe later in the day. The flag set up at 3:30.
330. So this one right over here.
Yeah, my entry wasn't great. It's put up on the 1 minute here. I got in at 271, and I had my stop at 266.
Okay, not bad. Yeah, nice entry.
Yeah, yeah, I missed my entry. I was like, okay, I'm gonna have a tight stop anyway, so I'll enter here. And then I took half off at 275.
Nice, right near high
I
day.
was looking for high. I was looking for 280. Um, took some off at 275 after that came. I got extended on the 1 minute, and then I took the rest of it off after the jet. Took it off at 343, right around 270s,
Nice.
276.
Nice. Yeah,
That was
kind of the same exact trade that, I made on it, except I was in a little lower, but I think everyone
yeah,
had that, mindset of, we did have this triple top. I should have been mindful of it after noticing it, but yeah, I think everyone was looking for that 280 crack, see if we could squeeze higher.
yeah.
Nice trade though. I mean, you've seen the flag
After like
executed
40
nicely,
percent,
and
I was like, nothing's gonna happen until I started.
yeah, I think it worked out well, Just didn't give us that follow through, and you know it's always good to be mindful of where you are entering in the trade, because this pivot over here of high from a couple days ago provided a great entry for the longs, and you can see we bounced off of it later in the day. So it's obvious everyone who did see this and did get long down here, or on these trend line taps, they were taking profits up here.
Yeah,
So that kind of slowed down momentum, and didn't really give us that follow through that we wanted. But overall, nice green trade. So good job on that, man.
yeah.
And then my last trade, or well, not my last trade. One of my losers on the day is Foxo. So I was looking at Foxo, and we got our trend line break here. Kind of this 3 minute flag set up over here, low VPA. Did get a little follow through. Same thing with this one. I was looking for the 165 crack right over here. Then I was looking to see if we could test these highs, start extending up. So I got long Foxo on the retest over here at 153. And then as soon as we curled up into this wiki area, I seen these wicks. I'm like, okay, it'd be a good idea to start scaling some off just in case we get flushed again. Like, look at the range in these flushes. There are a lot of range, so it's not something I really want to get caught in, and especially from playing Peggy in the morning and getting flushed on it. I'm gonna be very mindful, and I'm gonna try and protect the profits that I do have on the day. So I did take my first piece off at 160, and then I didn't take anything off here because, like I said, I was looking for that break, looking for that follow through, see if we could squeeze higher, and then ultimately we just got stuffed right here. We did come down, test the lower trend line. I did not exit over here. We came back up. We tested 150s, and then right here I was kind of noticing like, okay, sellers are starting to take control. We're starting to slow down. We're putting in these lower highs and ultimately lower lows. However, we are holding our trend line, so I wasn't really too worried. I was looking for that curl off the trend line and catch shorts by surprise and make that move higher. Then ultimately we got stuffed right here. And once we broke this 147 area over here, I cut. I believe I got filled at 146. And, I prevented myself from getting caught in this move. And then I did flip over to the 1 minute. I didn't play this, however, I did put it in chat. I was like, if no follow through on this bear flag right over here, we could possibly see that move into VWAP. And I was hoping for that UPay. If we got over VWAP, started consolidating, maybe put in a flag over VWAP, I would have got long again. But ultimately, we did get our move into VWAP, so that was the main target. I didn't play this move though, but it is something I threw out there, just worth noting in my opinion. Did anyone else play Foxo?
Yeah, I played it at the 1 minute flag at 11:54. So
Okay, so right over here.
I missed it. I was watching for a U-shaped recovery on that one as well after it popped up. It started to dip around 11:46, but I missed my entry. So once it popped up in flag, I got in at 147.
Nice.
So it was a quick scalp. I was just looking for 160 basically.
Yeah, nice. I see you got
So
that little extension into
yeah,
166 area.
I took my full position at 147, sold the full position at 160.
Nice, nice little trade, man. Good job. I notice you're saying you're missing your entries. Are you like, are you hesitating on them, or like, what's going on with that?
I think the U shape is something that I'm not that familiar with. I
Ah, okay.
tested it a little bit, so I'm still kind of taking it slow. And then I'm watching it on the tape. It's different than a flag, right? So the tape runs a bit differently, so it looks like the play's dead.
Yeah,
It's just drifting lower and lower, and then it popped up.
yeah,
I
it
think I might have been
catches.
looking at something else as well too, and then just missed it.
Yeah, I notice like whenever they're dumping, I've been like, that's where I'm like, all right, game time, time to find a position it, because I noticed like lately the move has been okay. We're gonna give you this big dump, and then we're gonna take it right back up, and this is a perfect example of it here. You kind of had that dump, kind of put in that 3 minute flag, and then buyers sent it higher. So that's something I've been noticing. Like even right here, we have that quick dump, send it higher. Um, like Peggy, another great example. We had that dump, and then bam, let's rip it higher. Right over here, people were just. This one was crazy, man. I thought, okay, this play is done. We're gonna end up halting down, and it's done for the day. But ultimately, just sucked back up, and I'm glad I was able to recoup my losses from that first trade. So that was really nice. And then my last trade on the day was actually a really nice one. Right here, PT, I noticed this 5 minute flag. Scanner called it out, and I went over to him like, what's going on here? I believe we had poked through this high day over here, and then I drew this little box. I'm like, okay, we got our wick here to our body. Let's see if we could flag, or let's see if we can hold over this area. And that is when I noticed the 5 minute flag setup over here. Not really the cleanest in terms of a 5 minute flag. You kind of want to see it come down and then bounce up. But it did look like a 5 minute flag to me, so I decided to get long. We had this 5 minute setup, low VPA. I got long, I believe it was right over here at 71 cents. And then I told the chat right away, like, I'm looking for 78. And the reason I was looking for 78 was because it was this previous area right over here of, support. We broke below it, confirmed it as resistance. And if you look left further, kind of had this level of support right here. So that's ultimately why I was looking for 78 as my target. We did get a crazy extension. So we did get, up to 74s. That's when I got my first scale out. And then we hit 78s. I got my second scale out. And then this just exploded out of nowhere. We had a crazy move into 95. I was not expecting this, end of day momentum like that. And then as soon as, I didn't get any filled up here. As soon as we started coming down, I cut the remaining piece at 84 cents. So really nice trade on that. Like I said, was not expecting this wild move higher, but hey, I'll take it. And then that was pretty much it for me on the day. I'm trying to think, was there anything else? Yeah, no, that was pretty much it for me on the day. Overall action today, I think, was it was tricky. If you were long where you should have been long, you got dumped on, and then if you were long on the dump where you should have been short, you got that follow through move to the upside. So today was definitely tricky in my opinion. Going into tomorrow, I think I'm gonna take like going into tomorrow. I think I'm gonna wait a little. I don't think I'm going to jump into the setups I see right away. I'm gonna wait for those I guess you can call them perfect entries, because even on Peggy, right over here you can see I wrote note to self, wait for the fucking proper entry, and that was because we had this big knife down. And the funny part about that was actually in chat I wrote that I was waiting for a dump and I was gonna see if we can get sucked up, and I want to find that message so I could show you guys. Somewhere around here. Looking for a dump and suck into 630s. So that was like ultimately what I was looking for on Peggy, and like we did obviously dump way lower than I was looking for, but I was looking for that dump and suck, and that's exactly what happened. I did get to scale some out, from the 630s ad in that area, and ultimately we got dumped on. So overall, clean trade. I got to make the money back, but like looking at it now, I should have realized this, and I should have been more patient. Because looking at it over here, like we weren't really holding any real pivot. Like I'm sure if I go to the daily, I can find a pivot or something, but ideally the area to add on this trade would have been over this pre-market high, and that's something I didn't do. So
Yeah, that's why I was a bit skeptical of it as well. If anything could pivot, and it's already up like I don't know 8 days in a row or something like that.
exactly, yeah,
It
this,
made it beautiful, and I was like, okay, this looks a little bit too good to be true. It's like one of those ones that's gonna get dumped on.
yeah, ultimately this one was wild, man. Just
Yeah,
like looking back at it now, this one was wild. I think this just caught everyone by surprise. Like everyone who was short, they got obviously trapped. There was too much buying pressure, and shorts got trapped, and you have this crazy explosive move all the way up here. So I think I did a good job though on noticing that we dumped, sucked up, and then I think I did a good job on re-adding where I should have on the trend line break, instead of getting long over here and potentially risking a rejection and further follow through to the downside. So I think I played this one pretty well. But like I said, going into tomorrow, I think I'm just going to be a little more patient and wait for those solid setups, because the morning volatility is tough, man. Playing stocks right at the open, you get caught in things like this, whereas playing a flag or a dump later in the day will give you better follow through. For example, FNGR, looking at this flag, this would have been a great flag to play. Clear pivot from here, and then you get that nice follow through move. So definitely think, as I wrote in that note, gotta wait for the proper entry, and definitely have to wait it out and not try and jump into something and be the man right at the open.
yeah. I'm
Did
bummed out that FNGR looking at it now.
Yeah, this one was a really nice move.
I think I looked at it right after it pulled back. Like the last time it pulled back, you took the hammer candle and then it has a double wick red candle.
Yeah. Did
Just wait
you
for it to pull back and didn't get it.
trade anything else on the day besides the names that we went over?
I took a couple other entries on Foxo.
Oh, Fox. So yeah, that one. This morning move was really nice on this flag. I know there were a few people in the stock chat that were all over it.
Yeah, so after the one I already talked about, I took it at there was another flag at 2 o'clock at 2:05. It's not really my setup. I think I should have entered there. It already had the 3 bar right before they popped up to the trend line. I didn't have the trend line drawn at the time.
Oh, you said
And
that was 20. I'm sorry to interrupt you. You said that was 2:05 Eastern.
yeah, so right before that hammer candle that you was on, yeah, that's
Yeah.
I entered on the previous candle. Yeah, I entered around one. I entered at 150. Then I got stopped out at 143.
Yeah.
I had my stop and beat below VWAP, so it came all the way down. touch right below VWAP, stopped me out, and then popped all the way back up. And I re-entered, which I normally don't do, but I decided to re-enter on this one. And I basically tried a couple times, tried at 1410 candles, and I tried again 1424, 210, 225 candles. So then I caught a break even after that. After I broke the time in the middle.
Yeah. Yeah, this one was, I can see, this consolidation was kind of tricky. You could see, move up, down, try and move up, and get this crazy doji right here. Very, very big indecision. And same thing right here, you get your little move up, dump, little move up, dump, and ultimately this one over here too.
I did try it one more time on the 1 minute flag when it got over the trend line, pulled back. And my entry wasn't great on this one. I got 156. I was looking for high day for like 170, 175, 180s.
Yeah,
So I didn't sell on that pop at 3 o'clock. So then I basically broke even on that one as well after it rejected.
yeah, very minimal follow through.
Yeah.
Did you trade anything else on the day, Cosmo?
That was pretty much my big event. Just Eddie, Boxo, APM.
Yeah, yeah. Today was tricky for longs. This move, man, I really wanted this high day
It was
crack in.
crazy looking back in hindsight. It seems like there was a couple pretty easy plays like FNGR or APM.
Yeah, definitely. It's always easier, after the market's said and done, and
Yeah.
looking back and
I think if I wasn't in, when taking that flag at 9:45 on APM.
yeah. For me on APDN, I'm looking at it now and like, man, this pivot was freaking perfect. It respected it really nicely right here and right here. This would have been a great entry, and maybe that's something I got to work on tomorrow. I got to start looking left way more because usually when I'm looking left, like I'm not gonna lie, I'm not really looking left. A couple days. I'm looking left. Maybe yesterday, maybe after hours pre-market, but this is showing me even right here. This would have been a great swing. Held this. This
Yeah.
is one of those U shapes over here as well. We had that dump, no follow through, and ultimately we respected that pivot all the way into today. Like this would have been a great entry this morning, and would have provided a great move up.
Yeah, I was watching it open through the T2 setup was perfect, but yeah, I don't really take 1 minute setups at open. At the
Yeah,
same time, this is kind of like a more low key setup, right? It wasn't on Gavin's list.
exactly. It was one of those quiet movers, so I feel like
Yeah,
that kind of helped it move higher. It wasn't too crowded, and
yeah.
there
It's
wasn't
not
too
like
many.
when you're taking the top of Gavin's list at the open. It's not quite the same stats. I feel like I should be taking that 1 minute setup.
Yeah, definitely. Well, a lot of tips, going into tomorrow. I'm sure you and I, we both know what we should work on and do better. So all we got to do now is implement it, right?
Yeah. Something I just started implementing today, like I did it on Peggy, and I normally don't do that, but I've thought about it for the last few weeks. It's cutting half when I think the stock is struggling. If I take a flag set and it just gets in that range where it doesn't seem like it's gonna go,
Yeah,
I start taking half off. There's times where I'll take a full size loss, and it's like, yeah, I didn't know what's gonna go. Like, why did you hold?
yeah,
Decide
yeah. That's a very smart idea. I mean, think
start thinking
just
that it makes a difference in 30, 50 trades from that.
yeah. It will definitely make a difference because I feel like if you do take half off when you're in profits and you feel like the stock isn't moving, then if you do have to take that L on it, that L, two things will happen. Either the loss won't be as big as it should have been, or it'll just be a break even trade. So
Yeah,
that's good. Good job, man. We're all improving. These reviews are really helping.
definitely.
Let me see. Did anyone else end up joining? Jixer man, did you trade anything on the day? Oh, okay. You're just listening. You're at work. Gang, don't think the work Wi-Fi lets me join via video chat. It's all good, Ronson. It's gonna be recorded. Yeah, so I guess that's pretty much everything on the day, huh?
Yeah.
I think this is one of our shortest reviews. Did you have any questions at all, Cosmo? Anything at all?
Um, Not really. I would say.
Yeah. Well, all right. I guess we'll cut it short here. And I mean, good review. You know, all these reviews. You know, right when we get into them, we get straight down to business. So that's always a plus side to them. So yeah, I guess we'll cut it here. And you know, if anything does come to mind, you know, you can always write it in the chat. I'm sure myself or anyone else will try and give you the best answer that they can.
Sure.
With that being said, I appreciate you guys for joining as always, and enjoy the rest of your day.